Well, hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to a glorious sunrise. Welcome back to Foxman Plays City Skylines. This sun is cheering me up because I made a bit of a boo-boo, and by a bit of a boo-boo, I mean one that consumed like 3 hours of my life. 3 hours of content that will never be, because I forgot to hit record on freaking Fraps for freaking City Skylines episode. So I did a whole bunch of build. I was talking to myself. I was recording the audio, of course. But I was so frustrated. The audio is gone now. I deleted it. So I am instead, well, I will be playing a bit of City Skylines here. But I'm going to be explaining what the heck has happened in the content that you miss, and I hope you don't mind that much. I apologize. I of course like showing you guys when I get to build stuff and all that, but it's the way she goes sometimes, and it's late at night, so yeah, it's just I made a mistake, and I paid dearly for it. All right. This is City Skylines After Dark. That's why you saw that lovely sunrise. I'm a little late to the party on the YouTube front, but I actually managed to grab a copy from Paradox before release. I was streaming it on my Twitch. If you don't follow me on Twitch, and you would like to, well, twitch.tv/michaelalfox, as I can be found everywhere else in this world. So I played it on the stream and all that, and it gave me kind of an idea of all the new assets, all the new buildings and the things that have changed in the game. I did know of them before that, just from reading things from developers and or from development and other places. But of course, it's always nice to get your hands on it and play with it. So I'm gonna try to get through all of these changes that I did as quickly as I can. So let's just go. First about the changes, and then we'll look at the new aspects of City Skylines as we go. One thing, the maybe immediate that you've seen change, is I got rid of all the office buildings and the services and everything I had in here. And that was something I talked about a little while ago, I think in the last episode actually, wanting to do, because this road I had going across here, when it crossed, it was like a different angle, and it wasn't parallel with these roads down here, and that was killing me. So I fixed the road here. I just left this little, what was it, the science building or something like that, just because I needed somewhere to put it. I didn't want to have to buy it all over again, but I basically got rid of, demolished everything else, fixed this road. I'm gonna have to continue to fix this road so that it's, you know, connected with the rest of the city here. Right now, it doesn't actually connect to this half of the city, the rest of the street grid. So I will have to do that. But that's the first thing. Fix the road, and I can focus a little more on making a decent office park. Okay? That's the first change. Second change, there were a couple bridges in here, just very sloppy, didn't like them, and there was kind of like a mogul-like structure here of rocky terrain that really wasn't working, so I've kind of smoothed it out. I'm going to think about how I want to develop here. Maybe I do want another bridge, maybe I don't. We've got this guy up here, and of course this road is going to be carrying a lot more traffic in the future. Also, it's getting really framey, and I don't know why. Alright, seems to have fixed itself. Change number 3. I got rid of all the wonky, funky grid-like stuff that was going on here. I tried a while back to do something that wasn't a plain Jane grid. I took it too far, man. I took it too far. It's okay to have some angled roads and curved roads and all that stuff, but because I'm not used to it, and I was rushed because I wanted to increase the population so we could get more unlocks and stuff, it just made for a really crappy looking area, at least to me. So I just said, screw it, got rid of it, temporarily move these incinerators over here, so these people are definitely not super happy about the pollution. But we'll fix that again in the long run. I also kind of did some tweaks to this little mountainside road. It had a couple bridge areas that I didn't like, so I did a little terraforming with our terrain tool. Fix that up. So that's like change number 3. I'm gonna take some of my water. Okay. Change number 4. It's pretty significant. We've got a big highway system that I've added. So this highway used to come down here and connect all here. It looked really bad and it always bothered me. So I thought, how could I change it? And there was actually another interchange right here, but I had to move it to put in this international airport. And there's a plane right there. Nice to see you. So I will be probably putting in another interchange here that connects to this road, or this avenue. But anyways, it comes down here, and it shoots across, and then of course it goes up north, curves around here, and eventually this is going to be, I was talking in the last episode, kind of like an interesting sort of city, different tiers, different levels and stuff like that, just very much more organic. I think it's kind of like a sister city, or something like that. So I just brought this road up here for now. Ignore this little dirt road. That was a reference point. And you know, I may change it a little bit. I may kind of curve this around and bring it in instead of having it perfectly straight. But you know, I'll save that for a later date. And then of course still I want to have farmland around here because this is very fertile land, and then have kind of more low density residential and connect it up here to the industry. I will do that. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to get this, set it there for now, and save it for a rainy day, because there's a lot of things we need to do to this city. There's a lot of things. So that's that. You know, you can see the interchange here. The other one to the left was exactly the same. It's a roundabout that goes under the highway, and then you've got 4, you know, on-ramp, off-ramp type thingies. Eventually there will be, you know, more roads and stuff. I don't want, you know, you can see a lot of people coming down here. I haven't really monitored this, but with the update I had to turn off a few mods, and one of them was kind of making it so only certain vehicles can use certain lanes, or like types of vehicles, and as well dictating, you know, this lane can only turn into this lane, you know, or this lane, and things like that. So I do not currently have those. I need to reactivate some of those mods. So the traffic is, not that it was ever great, but it's going to be kind of shitty, I think, for the next while, until I get those mods and get a lot of this infrastructure in and kind of more finalized. But I like this. It's the eye intersection, the iris intersection, and there was another one here, which kind of makes sense because you got 2 eyes, man. Well, I've got 2 eyes. Unfortunately, some people, accidents happen. I feel sorry for that. This interchange, I kind of wanted to do something a little different, actually. A little funky, you know, some cool-ish angles. It all works pretty much the same. Yeah, I just wanted something different, and they threw in some trees there. And then, of course, you got the bridge going over and all that. And down here, it basically terminates into the roundabout, and then there'll be, you know, I just connected this road as is. I don't know if that'll stay like that, but we'll have more connections over here as time goes on. This is like a half iris. Poor guy. A half an eye. The iris is only part of the eye. This is like the whole eye. Well, 2/3 of an eye. Anyways, so there's that. That's a change there. And the last major change, which I really wish I could, you know, all this stuff I wanted to show you, but this is the international airport. So this is one of the new assets. I'm also gonna exit and just pause it, because showing this stuff in nighttime is not necessarily ideal. because it's darker. But it's still cool. That is one of the more noticeable, like, visually, visual changes to the game is the daytime-nighttime cycle. There previously was a mod that did that, but it was very dark because the buildings didn't have lights. So now, though, all these buildings do have lights. Anyways, it's the airport. My justification for putting it here was like, you know, this highway, I really like actually the positioning and how this turned out. It's just north of the city here, so it's still fairly connected without being polluted by this huge highway infrastructure, right? It's kind of, it's out here a little bit out of the way, but not too far out of the way, right? And then, you know, connects all parts of the map. The one thing I might want to do is actually kind of have a turn off down here somehow. And then, yeah, people can come to this half of the city more directly. They don't have to come down through here. Or there will be the ramp, the interchange here, and then here. But even still, you know, that's a long trek. And another thing, before I forget, when I want to move this smear of poop, I'm going to move these guys to maybe a more contained, like a specifically designed retention pond for this shit. Much smaller, more concentrated, but like this is just a blight. It used to be over here. I moved all this stuff over here, but this is a nice body of water. And one of the things in the game is now buildings, and I can't remember if it's specific to the residents. I know it definitely applies to residents, but I don't know if maybe with the whatchamacallit, like office, commercial, if it has an effect on the value of those buildings and the happiness. But if you put residents near water, they're like, oh man, this is great, because people like living near water. So now this is actually like looking like more prime real estate here. So I might want to move this whole polluted incinerator slash train station and all that, and move these guys, and then have some either like nice housing up here, or it could be high density residential as well. Or I might even kind of take some of the office here. You know, I was thinking like having a nice office district here. I might instead kind of have some of that up here. It could be a cool area to do, because look at this. It's like double water. You've got this little bay here, and then you see the ocean or whatever the heck it is out there. So that's cool. That's cool. But yeah, back to the airport quickly. The reason, again, I put it here is, one, it's close to our highway system, right? You want it fairly well connected. It could have been a little further out for sure, but I was thinking, you know, there's not too much other stuff I want to put in this slice of land here, other than maybe some farmland on either side. And it's just a fairly cool location, you know, having the one runway kind of lined up, you know, going over the highway here and lined up against this kind of rocky cliff here. And then also here, it's a little dangerous, but it's a little cool. And then having the other one lined up with the water. I had to do some terraforming, so it's probably noticeable. I had to cut into this rock because really there was only a very small sliver after I put this airport on. You can see it kind of juts out a fair bit. And then, you know, this I might make a little more naturalized, but for now, it's just clean there. But the water, the flooding was minimal. I had to do a couple attempts at it because the water came over and it actually traveled all the way down to the city. So that's why I was like, oh shit, yeah, I needed to cut into this rock. So slowly over time I will make this look a little more naturalized, but it's pretty cool. And of course I had to flatten the land because the slope was too much. You can see I kind of stopped right around here, so I'm going to be fixing this up. And the cool thing is, this is the road that comes with the airport. It kind of curves along. If I flatten and fix up all this land here, there's all the way along here, we can actually develop stuff. So I could put some nice commercial stuff. The other really cool thing is there's a subway stop built right into the airport, the International Airport building. So I was able to just tweak our existing subway line that was coming up here, and just I ran it right through the airport, and then it comes back up here and does all that stuff. So that's a really nice feature that they added a subway station stop, whatever, right into the airport. Eventually, I will want to maybe have some. I definitely want to have some bus connections and like a commuter train somewhere in this area too. I think, you know, with an international airport, you kind of gotta think of all modes of transit, right? So it's easy for people to get to the airport quickly and by the means that they desire. So that's pretty much it for the changes there. Now, I quickly want to go through some of the other things. I won't be doing a lot of building in this episode, and I apologize for that, but I spent, like, several hours building this stuff. I'm kind of built out for now. But I want to go through the new building assets that they have in the game. So, I'm just going to kind of go through all these different types for now, and show them to you one by one. In terms of power, nothing is changed here. This is all the same. The only change that you will notice is if you have a lot of solar, if you rely on solar, during the night cycle, there's no sun, right? So you might see like a large portion of your city going without power. So you'll need to supplement that. That's kind of one thing I was hoping they might introduce, is having some kind of like battery energy storage stations that you could put, you know, right next somehow to your solar or whatever. So if you're producing excess solar energy electricity during the day, it'll just get stored and then you can use that during the night. In the real world, it's not necessarily practical, very expensive, but hey man, let's do it. Let's do it, you know. Elon Musk, he's working on that stuff, so anyways, that's just kind of one thing. But other than that, you know, nothing has changed in terms of the actual assets. Same goes for the water here. Same goes for the garbage. Yeah, everything is the same for the hospitals and the fire department. The policia. This is where the prison comes in. So if we look at the police headquarters or the police station, they have, does it say here? If we were to look at one though, they each hold 20 criminals, and then, you know, they're released, whatever. Prison holds 500. And, well, let's just read what it says. The prison is a correctional facility that facility to transform criminals into law-abiding citizens. Police stations have jails to hold criminals for a short time, but a prison is needed to rehabilitate them. So that's the big difference. Station and headquarters, they can hold them temporarily, but they get released and they're still criminals. If you have a prison, which you can see here is not the cheapest thing, it costs $120,000. It actually rehabilitates them. So they get caught by the police and then they get sent to a prison instead. So in the long run, it's gonna cut down on your crime, and that's a great thing. And that's another thing that's changed. At nighttime, crime rate increases a fair bit. So you gotta take that into consideration. Before we look at the rest of the buildings though, if we look at our budget panel here, you can see now there's a little sun and there's a little moon. So each budget item, there's a budget during the day and there's a budget during the night. So that's where the police one comes in handy. We might want to have a much higher budget during the nighttime. Since crime is higher, we want more police out in their patrol cars, just making sure things are good and safe. I think I'm actually going to do that right now. Wait, 34... Oh, it's probably because I'm paused. I'm going all the way for now. Actually, you know what? I'm not gonna do it because I'm gonna do that when I actually put in the prison. I don't know where I'm gonna put the prison yet. I do not know. But anyways, that's just something to think about. You know what I'm saying? And that's cool. It's great. Schools, the same. Transits, there's some changes here. If we go to bus, the first one, they've added the bus station. So the bus station effectively is the same as this system we've got going on here. If we look at here, you see how I've got the series of roads here, and then I've got bus stops for each one, and the buses kind of funnel in at this one point. So it's easier for people to, here's our subway here, here's our commuter train. They just get there and then they walk to whichever bus station they need. They're all very close, and then the buses go out to their respective areas in the rest of the world. That's exactly the same as this guy does. It's just in a bit more condensed. And I was actually playing around with this previously, but I'm not going to implement it here yet because I need to get some of the traffic management mods back in place. The one where I can say that this road and this road are bus only. By putting in this building, it does the same thing essentially as this does, but it actually kind of makes it a bit more of a bottleneck than how I have it now, because buses can't come in to their specific route. They all have to come in like down here and then come in the front of the building. So it'll work, but I just need to make it so roads are bus only. And we can do that if you look at some of these. So these are actually built in. I used to have it as mods having bus only lanes, but this is actually built into the base game now. So 4-lane road with bus lanes. And as well, they did the same thing with bicycle lanes, which is really cool. And you can see here as well, there's 6-lane with bus lanes, and there's bicycle lanes. So that's cool. But now, previously, there were 2-lane roads with the mod I had that were bus lane only. I turned that mod off so it wouldn't conflict with this game, but that kind of bothers me now. They don't have those roads. But I do have another mod where you can select lane by lane, you know, permitting or restricting, oopsies, certain vehicle types from using them. So I'm going to see if I can get that working before I go and change our bus system here. But that's essentially what the bus station does, and it's a nice little package, right? It took me a while to get this all working properly, but if you're doing a fresh construction job, the bus station is for you, or me. So there's that. Metro has stayed the same. The train has stayed the same. The ships. Now we got a cargo hub. I'm just going to read the description. It's the most succinct one. A cargo harbor that accepts also train traffic. Cargo hub combines the functionality of a cargo harbor and a cargo terminal, but there is also a slight synergy bonus for the close proximity of the both facilities. That's a little added word there, of both facilities, and reduced truck traffic between the two buildings. So essentially it's combining our little system here, right? We've got our cargo harbor, then we got some roads connecting it to our train cargo terminal, where goods are being shuttled back and forth between the, you know, sometimes from here to here, or sometimes from here to here, which this system is working. It works quite well. But again, this just speeds up the process. Basically, there is a train track and a road built into it. So that's really cool. I'm not going to be putting it in place here because this is kind of funky terrain, and I'd have to bring the train track down here. And quite honestly, I really like how this has come together. This is a fun little design here. However, over here, I've been talking about changing this up for a while. What I want to do in the future is build a little island here and kind of I'm gonna put the hub, or maybe put more than one hub on the island, and then I'll just have a train track and a road coming back to the mainland here. So that's what I'm gonna do in the long run. For now, I'm just gonna leave these guys be, because at least the one is functioning. The other one, it just seems like it's, I never see any boats there. Yeah, I don't know. But anyways, so that's that. For the airport, obviously you've already seen the international airport, which has 2 runways, 11 terminals, and it's got the subway built in it, so handles a lot more traffic than our little dinky airport. They should rename this to municipal airport or something. And taxi depot. So this is completely new. Taxi depot, and then you can have taxi stands. So that's really cool. I mean, that's another way people get around in cities. So why not? Oopsies. I don't know why we need to be in this other transit view. Ah, it's fine. It doesn't matter. Actually, it's probably beneficial. But yeah, we could put taxis, stands in certain other areas wherever the heck we want, and the depot. So it's kind of like the bus system, but it's with taxis. So now you see little taxis going around. So that's cool. I'm going to figure out how I want to implement that later. Lastly, if we go into our little parks decoration tab, maybe not the best place to put it, but we got tourism and leisure. So this is stuff that's all like waterfront, pretty much, most of them. So we've got the fishing pier, fishing tours, jet ski rental, marina, restaurant pier, beach volleyball court, riding stable, skate park. Skate park, that seems like a custom. Is that a custom? That's not a custom asset. No, it's not. So anyways, these guys are cool, but when I was streaming with this the first time, I tried to, you know, put a bunch of them on a shoreline, and the thing is, like, they kind of seem a little sporadic. It's a little bit clumpy, clumsy, and not very intuitive, because we can put this guy here, but we also have to have a pathway very, very close to it. It just didn't look clean, like an actual boardwalk or something like that. So that's something I'm going to be trying to play around with a bit in the future. Maybe I'm being too nitpicky, but I'm actually excited to have a lot of these kind of things right in our little cove here, our beach area. This is the resort island I previously been planning, so I think it'd be cool to have some of these guys over here. Of course, we'll have some in the main island as well. So that's part of the tourism and leisure. So if we go to districts now, where is it? Commercial specializations for districts. You've got tourism, leisure, and then, well, no commercial specialization. So these are the two new. You can make a whole district like designed around that. And they have different policies and things like that. So pretty neat. Oh, I'm just doing a stretch. So yeah, that's, you know, one less thing that you have to get mods for in this game. I mean, modding is definitely a big part of the game, but it's cool to see them slowly adapting some of these things into the game. And if you've kept up with the developers, publisher, so Colossal, Order, and Paradox Interactive, they're not done with City Skylines. There's going to be a lot more stuff they're going to be working on in the future, which is really great to hear, because this game has a ton of potential. But there's also a lot of things, you know, I'm hard on them only because I love what they've done with the game so far, and I don't want them to give up, like, halfway there, right? They can make this a much better game. You know, there's a ton of room to grow, so I'm excited to see where they go with it, for sure. And I'm going to keep playing it, for sure. So that's, I mean, that's generally what I have done. Oh, Trailer Park Boys. Military zone, I still want to keep that up there. As you can see, previously I had thought of maybe putting an airport there, but I feel like this is going to be a better location. It's a little more central to everything, and yeah. So I will be doing some actual building in front of your eyes. I will make sure that it's recording, of course. I feel really bad about that, but the next episode will have some buildings, maybe some time-lapse type dealios. One thing I'd like to do, similar to the airport, is at least just get something in place, and then I can see how I like it. We'll tweak it a little bit in time, but the sports complex here, get a couple of the parking lot asset mods, so cars will actually park in a parking lot. I might put some down here and then have a bus that'll shuttle up right in front of the sports stadium, arena, whatever you want to call it, and maybe have some more parking lots and stuff around here. I just thought this was a really cool place to put sports complex. I previously had thought about putting it down here, but since I moved, this road was curving down here, the highway, but since it's now going across here, there's less room to put such a big structure. And as well, it's nice. It's got its own area here. It's elevated more. It's just like more symbolic. It's like it's the crown jewel of the city, man. You know, people, the sports teams, you know, people are very proud of their sports teams. So, you know, I figured this is a fun location to put to do that. So that's something I think I would like to start tackling in the next episode, and you know, figuring out some of these other developments. Definitely want to get office stuff established back there. I really do need to build, I want to build an actual campus, so there might be a few custom mods I can get, because this has been sitting here for ages, and every time I'm talking about it, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna build something here, we're gonna build something here. I will, but I want it to be more of a handmade thing. I don't want to just put the university here. I want to have something that kind of looks like a campus, you know, like a self-contained little city within a city, or whatever. So we'll see about that. And of course, adding some more development and putting in some farmland. There's a lot of things I'd like to do that I will be doing for sure. But I just wanted to give you guys a rundown. Again, I do apologize that there's a lack of building in this episode. I'm built out for the day, so we did make a lot of changes, so that's cool. And it's gonna be interesting playing around with the new budget panel and stuff like that. See exactly how it changes during the night, and seeing the nightlife as well. That's gonna be really cool. I'm excited to see that. But anyways, I'm gonna cut this one a little bit short. It's much shorter for a Foxman video than probably usual. But hey, you know, just go watch something else. It's too. That's all there is to it. I've got some other videos. There's other people out there too that got videos. Or go outside. Go get a coffee. Go roll around in the dirt. I don't care. Have fun. Anyways, I'm gonna see you guys in the next episode of Foxman Plays City Skylines. Let's just get a nice view of something. The city's not moving though, but it doesn't matter. There we go. That's kind of nice. Anyways, I'll see you in the next episode of Foxman Plays City Skylines. Until then, peace out.